Just let's check the time. Good afternoon, comic book fans. Autoplay. Sorry about that. That was a kind of weird little mess up there because I've changed my YouTube settings. Never mind. So hi, I'm back. I'm doing another comic book review. This one, in fact, Lonely Receiver. A couple of reasons I'm doing this one. First off, Zach Thompson wrote one of my favourite books of the year. And also, it's pretty much sold out already, so I want to read it now before the guys who've ordered it come and collect their comics. So I'm being a bit cheeky. But, you know, usually I get away with it because it's Tuesday and I can do it before they're allowed to be sold. But today's Wednesday, so it should be fine. It should be fine. So first off the bat, I've got to say, the other thing I've read from Zach Thompson was Undone By Blood, which is a story of Western revenge, which is exactly the kind of stuff I like. This is not that kind of comic book, like not even close to it. So straight away, I'm like, well, fair enough. This could be, it's, you know, a bit of a challenge. Let's see if I'm going to enjoy it or not. And right off the bat, yes, I did like the artwork. It's not Lenny Naylor, and you can see there's quite a difference in just page layouts. A little bit more traditional. I do like the use of colouring, and I do like the panels within panels for being the mobile phone. Because a bit of a basic rundown of the story, it's a woman whose previous relationship went badly wrong. You get a sense that her partner was accusing her of being controlling, although there's also a sense that it might have been vice versa or the same. Very quickly, I got the impression this is dealing with problems of depression and anxiety. To get over that relationship, living in the near future as she is, she decides to generate life from her mobile phone, and her mobile phone becomes sentient, aware, and physical in the desired figure for her, a tall blonde woman, as it turns out, with short blonde hair, which I quite liked. And then it becomes a story of their relationship, although there's a time jump, which I handle quite nicely just from looking at haircuts. The phone always has the same hair, but the human has hair that grows, and it gives you a sense that they've been together for a while. And straight away, in fact, yeah, I'm going to say pretty much within maybe a couple of pages, you realise that what was going on in the previous relationship definitely wasn't the fault of just the other person. Although there may be fault there, we're never told 100%. There is problems of a sense of wanting to be in control, or a lack of being in control, afraid to be left alone, afraid to be abandoned, and as such, jealousy pops its head up quite a lot. This is all a story about relationships, or at least, well, it's a sci-fi horror story, which happens to be about relationships and how those are a problem for people with depression and anxiety, because you're going to run into your own worst enemy being yourself quite a lot, and you're going to externalize that because of, well, just not being 100% sure of any other way of handling things. Now, I'm not going to try and say that I know exactly what's going on in people's mind with depression. I really, really don't. I think somebody with depression might read this and take a completely different read than I do. That being said, what it is excellent. It's a genuinely captivating read. You can see cracks appearing, and instead of it being a predictable story of what you know is going to happen, it ends up becoming something you find yourself engrossed in, and can't wait to see the next step along the way. Can't wait to see actually how the character is going to deal with it. The fact that it's dealing with sci-fi and AI actually adds an interesting layer to it. But I think you can strip all that down and it's still a pure human story, which is important. If it was nothing but sci-fi, if it was nothing but just dealing with how technology changes us and how technology changes our relationships, that would be an interesting story on its own. Don't get me wrong, there are elements of that there. There's in fact like an entire 2-page spread at the back, which is done by the people who created these mobile phones that have become alive, telling you about how it all works and what they can provide for you. And a lot of it is very familiar to stuff you see in stuff like Black Mirror and even what you see today. That is a great story on its own. But this goes more than that. It becomes about what makes us people and what makes us connect to other people. And it's handled in such a way that is uncomfortable because it also deals with the fact that people are flawed. The idea that there is, you know, a perfect relationship out there, but you're never going to get to it because you're not good enough to have earned it, even though you absolutely believe you are. There's a bit of you that is never going to allow that to happen. The horror stuff kind of comes in at the end and it's weird and uncomfortable and I like that, but it's understated as well. it doesn't overshadow everything that's gone on before. It doesn't take away from all the characters you've read about, and the characters are particularly well drawn. In Undone by Blood, there was, except in a few instances, broad strokes used more than fine detail when it comes to characterization. This one gets right down to the nitty-gritty, like under the skin kind of detailing on who these people are and what their motivations are and how they see the world and how they expect the world to see them. That's really good writing for a single issue of a comic book, I've got to say. Because of the subject matter, it might be a bit heavy going for me. I think it might be something which I'll dip back into every once in a while, maybe pick up in trade. But if it's something which is interesting you, I think it's going to be amazing. I think you're going to absolutely adore it. Anyway, that's it from me. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's come out this week. I'm going to struggle to figure out which ones I want to review. But since I've got Hellblazer and we only find them when they're dead, at least that are in my bag, expect at least 2 more solid reviews coming. And who knows, I might get round to Broken Gargoyles if that turns up, Doctor Who if that turns up, Black Widow if it doesn't sell out yet, and I think there's maybe 1 or 2 other little mini series as well that could be worth checking out. So keep an eye out on the channel, subscribe if you don't want to miss out on anything, and if you just like watching me talk about comic books and want other people to watch me, give us a share. That's cool too. Like I said, that's it for me. I'm back tomorrow. Bye.